Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to episode 3 of my Cross RC Demon build. I already have everything laid out today for what I need to complete. Chassis has been completed on episode 1, and then on episode 2 the front and rear axles, including the links, have been done as well. The shocks were done in episode 1 as well. So we got almost everything done. And now today in this episode we're going to be mounting up the front and rear axles to the chassis, as well as the motor and the transfer case and the last drive shaft. I won't be doing any tires, so this will be a really short episode because I'm going to just be throwing on my Hyrax tires for now, since they're already mounted on some bead locks. So I might go with these temporarily in the future, but I don't know yet. So let's get started on this last couple of steps, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so here it is, the final complete part that I needed to get done before I start working on the body and painting a bunch of stuff. Everything else that's left is pretty much body wise. It shows you the different models. Sadly, my model doesn't come with the door panels, so I'm gonna have to purchase that in the future. If I ever do want it, I'll have to see when the body's completely built up if I want it or not. It's not a major detail that I'm missing out on, but if I really want this to be like really cool in scale, I'm probably going to get it. But yeah, so everything went in fairly good. I did have one slight problem. So if you've built this kit in the past, let me know if you had to do this. So my servo was hitting on the side rail when I compressed my axle. So I had to loosen up this link. It's the right side inner link, the 80.5 millimeter one. I had to loosen it up like 2 turns. So it's the decent amount of space that a little spacer can fit in here, which I do have. I just didn't put it in. Might put it in later tonight or tomorrow. So let me know, because in the instructions it didn't say anything about putting a spacer. I know I tightened everything down to specs of how the book told me to tighten it down. But overall, the back went in pretty well. I didn't have to loosen anything or do anything extra. The drivetrain is nice and smooth. Everything spins nice and freely. Obviously it's pretty tight. It's not extremely tight, but there's a little resistance, obviously, because of the gearbox that's inside of here. If it wasn't for the gearbox, everything would have been spinning perfectly fine. I do have to add 2 more screws here, so I just noticed I forgot to do that. But yeah, everything went in well. Because I am using Hyrax tires on this temporarily, just so I have tires on here, I had to push the front bumper up to the outermost hole. This bumper is supposed to be closer, and then these pieces here are supposed to be used to screw into the front grill piece of the body. So since it's pushed up forward, I can't screw it into the grill anymore, which is fine. I'll probably just nip it off anyways, because there's other spots where the body mounts to the chassis anyway, so it doesn't really bother me. But yeah, as for the shocks, the front is pretty good because obviously there's a decent amount of weight here. I might bring it down to the first hole and see how that works. If not, I might leave it here on the second hole, and then for the rear, I might bring it up 1 hole on both sides. It'll bring it down just a tad. If not, I'll leave it where it's at and then probably use some lighter springs that I have here with the here in my little spring bin. Oh, alright, that was a fail. So these are slightly lighter than what's in here right now. So I do have that option, but I have to take into consideration that the battery does sit back here, so that's going to create some extra weight bringing this down, I'm going to assume. So for now, I'm just going to leave it as is till I get everything situated, and then I'll do some testing and tuning in the future. As for drive shafts, just to give you guys some input on that, drive shafts went into the transfer case fairly easily. There is no binding in the drive shafts. The angles are excellent. There's no major angle, like how the SCX10s used to be. There used to be massive angle in the drive shafts, but this is really good. There's a tiny bit of play in the rear drive shaft, so I'm thinking of finding a drive shaft the same size, but the other shaft just a little longer, because I don't like when my drive shafts are loose like that. That's why you see them so tight on my Jeep. But yeah, so finally got everything done. It took me 3 days, a couple hours after work, off camera. But the following thing is just to get all the paint sprays I need. I'm going to be using Tamiya spray paint for this build. I'm not going to be using my Rust-Oleum paints that I usually use. So I'm going to make a trip out to the hobby store and get the paints that I need. I'm just going to do a little surprise for you guys. I will show you guys like the process of like what pieces I'm going to need. So I'll give you guys a sneak peek right now. I could go there. So just a quick sneak peek. So the door is gonna get mounted. The back piece is already connected to the body. I guess they did that from factory. I skip this because I don't have the SP4B or C. Then I go on to the dashboard, mirrors, and all this other good stuff. Dashboard I have to paint. Then the grill, light lenses, other miscellaneous parts that I have to glue, which I'm going to be using the Star Bond adhesives for this project. So be on the lookout for when I use that. Then everything gets put together. Hood. The magnets are already glued on, which is easy for me. And then more accessories, then interior, screw in the interior, outer accessories, then the trunk, and then any there's mud flaps that come with the truck, but I might not add the mud flaps, I'm not sure yet. And then the cage, but this doesn't pertain to me because I don't have that. Rear bumper. Then I gotta route all the lights. So I'm gonna be getting lights from Lit LED. I already hit him up, so he knows exactly what lights I'm gonna be using for this build. And that's it. The build would be complete. So I don't think I'm gonna be doing an episode 4. If I do, it's just gonna show you just the front cab, the rear trunk, all the parts that go onto the body, and then I'll be showing you guys exactly what paints, like the paint scheme I'm going to be going with, where I got the paint scheme from, and then I won't come back to the video probably till I'm done painting everything. So when I'm done painting everything, I'll come back on the camera and show you guys everything painted before I put the body all together, all the pieces together, glue everything. And then once everything is done, come back on the camera and show you the final piece. But so far, I'm very satisfied with this build. haven't hit a bump on the road yet with it, so hopefully this body goes all well, no mess ups. So I'm going to just take my time on this one. And yeah, so stay tuned for episode 4, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.